Hello and welcome to the second part of the presentation. In this part, I'll be covering the final concept that I came up for the project of service design for Runway. Let me just begin by stating some assumptions that I made to come up with these concepts. The first assumption being the system assumes that all the parties will be willing to install infrastructure needed to execute the idea. The second one, good internet connection at village or city where the borrowers are located. And I believe this is a fair assumption to make because the government is now presently pushing for connecting villages with broadband. The third assumption that I'm making is Ramsey would be partnering with other service providers who would help uh, them in transportation of goods, providing borrowers with second-hand goods, and etc. Fourth, it is assumed that corporate partners would be willing to exchange their support contribution apart from money. Borrowers would have a basic phone which has voice call and SMS facility. The features of solution that I'm going to present over here are mainly in terms of joining conference replanned as a video conference between runway, field partner, borrowers, and investors. This would include creating borrowers profile for first-time borrowers as well as for repeating borrowers, loan approval, goods investment, business tie with service providers. This would all be done through field workers' mobile device and application installed on it. The features of that mobile device would include maps through which the field worker could keep tab on houses visited and the area covered by runway. Sharing knowledge with borrowers. There are some more features that I've covered in the final concept, and I'll move ahead to show you that. But the first and foremost thing that I did for planning out was to come up with a service blueprint. Here we see that I have planned the second stage of borrower's customer journey over here, and that is of the joining encounter. I have divided that into sub stages where you have the starting point as awareness about runway loan, then doubts and discussion, inquiry about loan, decision to apply, exchange of information, uploading the information on runway portal, raising the money and transferring money. This is the customer journey of what borrower goes through when he has to apply for runway loan. You can take a detailed look about this blueprint in the attached files that I've included in the mail. And I'm going to go forward and show you what details are covered. So I've taken this one specific substage of exchange of information and detailed that out over here. And these are the activities which will happen in between the field worker, Sunday, and borrowers. And these are the activities planned through this. So where the applicants first visit the field partner office, Runway gives a presentation about loan, there's need assessment, approval of borrowers, and then financial literacy training. I'm going to show all these stages in terms of scenario and sketches. So I'll move on to scenarios and how the new ideas would fit into a. So here we have a family. Reshma Patil stays with her husband and daughter. Her husband works in a kirana store. She is an ambitious woman and wants to marry her daughter next year. In order to do that, she has to raise money more than what the family earns presently. One day, while talking to Urmila, who sells milk, she got to know about Rangney loan. Urmila has been a borrower of Rangney loan since 2 years, and her business has been going fine. While talking to Urmila, she gets an idea that she could also apply for a loan. When she gets back to home, she talks to her husband. He asks her to call the field worker who gave loan to Urmila, and then they can have a discussion about how they can also apply for loan. Reshma asks Urmila to give her field worker's number. She gets its number, and she calls up the field worker and arranges for a meeting next day at her home. When the field worker arrives next day, Reshma and her husband ask detail about the loan and details about how money can is dispersed and what is the interest rate and how they can set up their business. Since the field worker comes across these questions every single day for a lot of interested applicants, he has a presentation that is already being set up. Field worker then shows them a presentation about the loan and its benefit. He also shows how investors in cities contribute and how Runway works. So now imagine this is how the interface of that mobile device would look like. Here the field worker can go to these features mapped over here and he chooses the knowledge source where he can find that there are various presentations already been set up in his mobile device. Of course, there are other presentations of these domains like finance, business, marketing, health, and budgeting, which he shares with other borrowers. But for interested applicants, he shares presentation about runway loan. Once he clears doubt of the interested applicant, the field worker asks if she is interested in applying in near future. If she is interested, he can make a temporary profile for her. She agrees, and the field worker takes a photograph and a video of Reshma for making the profile. Here we see how the field worker is able to make a new profile of borrower, of the person who is interested to apply for the loan. The profile picture is over here, the profile type being displayed over here, and here you have the name, gender, contact number, address, profile type, and basic screening questions which are needed for Rangde to assess if the borrower is eligible or not. Second part is of goods and businesses. If there is a business that's in the drop down menu and where there could be contributions from other corporate partners. On the other hand, we have goods requirement if she needs any good, for example, a mobile phone or sewing machine, that can also be selected from the drop down menu. Then we have a section of videos where the field worker can record a personal video where the interested applicant says that why she needs a loan, and the other one being the household condition. Here, the field worker takes a video of household condition, and this is an important part because that's how Rangde and investors can get to know what is the standard of living of this borrower, so that he or she is the most needy person for that loan. Once that video is uploaded, here you can see that both the videos are uploaded, and then he goes on and collects basic information from her and tells her that he'll inform Rangi about her application. She should be ready for an interaction with Rangi team in coming days. He sends the inform Rangi button, and thereby he is able to put this data in Rangi's team dashboard. At Rangi office, the officer checks out number of temporary profiles. He assembles all the temporary profiles of specific field partner and plans an interview session. Here we can see that there are interested applicants profile listed over here, and the Runday team member can mark temporary profile over here and the field partner. And once he selects all the profile over here, he can mark the calendar for a interview date. So, for example, if he marks a calendar over here and confirms, the notification is sent to the partner. The field worker gets a notification of an interview date on his mobile device, and he also gets to know who all interested applicants are selected for that interview date. Subsequently, Reshma also gets an SMS as well as a call about it in her local language SMS. The field worker contacts Reshma and confirms the appointment for the interview. Once the appointment is confirmed, the day of interview arrives. On the day of interview, Rangde team member sets up a Google Hangout. The field partner is invited to join the Hangout. Since this is a Hangout in air, therefore it is open to the public. He fills up the field which is required for Google Hangout. So once the Hangout is set up, here we see that in field partner's office, there would be a screen where the Hangout would go on. There would be the video conference. There would be a webcam, speaker, and microphone kept over here. All the interested applicants can be seated around this area, and people at Rangde office would be interacting interested applicants. The session would first start with a presentation about Rangde, and where the Rangde team members brief them about their organization and how the money is raised and how people are connected to it and how many borrowers are with Rangde. So this would be an interesting way of starting an interaction with the new borrowers. The screen might look like this, and there would be investors who would be joining throughout the world. This would also emphasize Rangde's transparency, and investors would be able to see what kind of borrowers is Rangde giving loans to. After the presentation session, there would be a one-on-one interview where Rangde team, field worker, and the interested applicants would go for an interview session where both the parties are able to clear doubts. On Rangde's side, they will get to know if the borrower is eligible for Rangde loan, and the interested applicants can also ask questions about how they can set up their business and what kind of help they can expect from Rangde. It would be a 10 to 15 minutes long interview. This would be used for verifying documents, business needs, loan amount, goods needed by the borrower, and any confusion which may be raised can be sorted out in real time. After all the individual interviews are done, the field worker and Rangde team would decide which borrowers to be approved for Rangde loan. And after that is confirmed with borrowers, the profile would be uploaded on the same day. And the participants of the Hangout session would get a link of profile, and on same day, the website would also list the profiles of new borrowers or new interested applicants. Here, I'm going to show how the new profile would look like. Right now, the profile on the website is listed in this manner. If you go to the details, the things that change about the profile would be two videos which would say tell about the personal story of that borrower and house condition, and the second being the goods detail or goods that are required by the borrower. And I'm going to show how the task flow of the invest via goods happen. So if a person says that I'm going to invest via good, he would choose the goods that are required by that borrower and upload first the picture of that, and secondly what enter the details about the make of that product. He will also keep a selling price that he wants to keep, or he can just keep it as blank if he wants to make a contribution. He then logs into his profile and gives contact detail and confirms it. He also has an option of cancelling the contribution, or otherwise he can just go back and continue investing in other borrowers. And I've also come up with another way of investing via goods, which is called a quick goods invest. Here we see that Rangde already has a feature called quick invest for money. So I'm going to show you how goods can be invested through this. Since any of the investor might not want to go through all the borrowers to check if any specific borrowers need this good that he already has and wants to contribute, he could just uh, see the list of goods needed by different people through this drop down list, and if he has any of the goods lying at his home, he can choose that and upload a picture over here. The second step would include giving detail about that product and the selling price he wants to keep, the preference if he has any. The next step being run this shows that okay, there is a borrower who needs this product. So would you be interested in contributing? If he agrees, then he can go next. He can add more goods he wants to contribute, and after he is done doing that, he can give contact details, and then there is a thank message. After the profile has been uploaded on the website, on the field worker is helping all the new interested applicants to to give training in finance or business setting up. While the money is being raised, the field worker indulges in finance training for approved borrowers. Since this is a group event, therefore all new applicants can join and form joint liability group. This is a group event there they would all come together, and this is where the group formation can happen. And of course there are other ways of forming the group, but this could be one of the ways of exchanging information and forming groups. Here again we see that how field worker can go to the knowledge source section and start giving finance literacy training over here. So after about a month, Reshma gets a confirmation SMS and call from the field path. She gets an offer for a mobile phone she wanted, and lastly she gets a notification that Big Bazaar is interested in opening up a Kirana store for her. The field worker visits Reshma's house to hand over the money and discuss other opportunities. Here we see that the profile has now changed to borrower type, and there are more details which have been noted over here. And I'm giving one more option where the borrower, if interested, can also add up more videos which can be shared with the investors. So here I'm adding a suggestion that the borrower can record a thank you message for all the investors. Once that video is recorded by the field worker, this video can be uploaded on YouTube and be shared through Gmail to all the investors. Next, we see that the when field worker arrives, he has two notifications for her. The first one is that Big Bazaar has accepted the request, and the second one is about the goods notification. So the notification would look something like this: please confirm. And on the other hand, he also shows that there is one investor who's interested to give his mobile phone. So there will be three photographs, company tag, and asking price over here, and therefore he gets money. After exchanging this information with her, Reshma agrees to buy a phone and set up Kirana shop with Big Bazaar. Once the business is set up, in subsequent months, the field worker would be visiting Reshma regularly and keeping a tab of account of how the installment is being repaid. He is able to keep an account of all the repayments through this simple interface where he just needs to make a tick mark or also enter what date was the installment being repaid. After this process of repayment is going on, 10 months later, Runway team realizes that Reshma has been paying regularly, and they send a notification to the field worker if Reshma wants another cycle of loan. Here I am suggesting that the borrower, if she is interested to apply for next cycle of loan, the ninth month can give a notification to them, and 10th and 11th month can be used for raising the money. Here I am suggesting that on ninth month, the field worker can go and ask if they need another cycle of loan, and if they need it, they can apply for it. Field worker goes to Reshma on ninth month and asks if she's interested to take another loan. She agrees for applying loan once again. The field worker confirms the request for the next loan. The field worker takes another video of household condition and business, and this time this would highlight the difference made by the loan and her earnings and how this has affected her standard of living. Reshma would record her message for loan application, this time talking about the changes that have happened due to loan and what is she planning to do with the next loan. The field worker makes an entry in Reshma's profile, and that is over video over here where he can add the first cycle, second cycle videos. Then this is uploaded. This is automatically updated by Ramdev. Since there is no validation needed for the second time, the profile can be updated easily. The videos of every year or every cycle of loan would highlight the difference made in their standard of living. And any investor can see how much impact Rangde loans have been making in their life. For the next section, I'll show you the visual design of the mobile app that I'm thinking of. Here you can see the borrower's profile, which looks like this. Here we have the basic information, the video section, goods and business section, notifications. Uh, and there are some technology considerations that I've made over here. The field worker's mobile device would be a 10-inch touchscreen device with a good primary camera. The next one being a television and microphone and speaker set for the video conference at field partner. And I'm expecting that all the borrowers would have a very basic phone for having SMS and call facility. So this is the final concept that I came up for Rangde. I hope that you liked it. I would really like to know what your feedback is, and if you have any ideas, to let me know. I have included a Google form link in the description below, so please go through that and give your feedback on what ideas do you like and what you didn't like, and how this can be made better. I hope that you liked my presentation, and thank you for giving your time